Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you is a Zerg versus Terran on Triton LE. Spawning here in the bottom right hand corner of the map and playing with the red Zerg drones. From Ukraine we have none other than Bly. His opponent in the opposite corner playing with the blue Terran SCVs. Now his nickname literally translates to, well, you probably guessed it, thermostat. He's in clan Easy for NLD, Easy for the Netherlands. I have no idea why none other than uThermal is playing under a nickname that's strange. I have no clue. There's probably a story behind it. For those of you that follow him on Twitter, you probably know that he does like his memes. And I guess recently, just talking in Dutch and whatnot has become a bit of a meme all on its own. I'm not entirely sure why that is either. But as someone from the Netherlands myself, I do think it's quite funny. So his nickname is Thermostat. No clue why that is. But we'll see what this game is going to be all about. Now, a couple of you have reached out actually to me on Twitter as well and mentioned that this game right here is epic. I have no idea what to expect. I just know that it's a Zerg versus Terran between two very high-level professional gamers. And, well, that it's a very long game too. So, just to warn you guys, right, in advance, because I've noticed on, like, the last couple of casts that I've done whenever there's an infestor involved, as soon as one pro gamer makes one infestor, I see a lot of very angry YouTube comments immediately, a lot of people that get very triggered about the infestor right now. Now, I'm with you. I do think that the infestor is certainly too powerful right now, and it looks like Blizzard agrees with you as well. There is going to be a nerf coming to the infestor in really just probably a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so from now. After the BlizzCon event wraps up, there's going to be a new multiplayer overhaul. I already made a video about that. But regardless, there's certainly going to be a change to the infestor, and I'm with you. I do think that the infestor is a little bit too strong. I don't know if Bly wants to make any. But generally speaking, right, if a game goes past, say, like the 20-minute mark in a Zerg versus Terran or a Zerg versus Protoss, we will, generally speaking, see a whole bunch of those spellcasters coming out. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bly goes for it as well. Also because I recently actually casted a game between him and, I believe it was Harstem on this exact same map. And he made tons of infestors. I saw lots of salty comments on that one. So we'll see what this game is going to be all about. Apparently it's epic, so let's find out together whether or not it's going to be a good one. Now, actually, interesting start here by Mr. Thermostat, by Mr. uThermal. He actually decided to skip out any Reaper opener. I always think of him as like one of the best Reaper players in the world. Other than Björn, I mean, Björn is always very well known for his micro. He's right now in the military. Over in Korea, you have a mandatory military, I think it's like 18 months or so, like a military service you have to do. So he's in the military right now. I wouldn't be surprised if most people would consider uThermal right now to be the best micro-Terran player in the world. He's stupid good with just simply microing units, but he actually decides to open up with a bunch of Marines. So we'll see. A couple of Zerglings right now made their way across the map. There's one lonely SCV mining that top mineral patch. Oh, man. Yeah, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. Oh, man, poor guy. Marines, though, immediately were pulled out of the main base. They're going to be able to shut down a couple of these Zerglings. Ooh, almost gets the fourth one, too. I guess 3 Zerglings right there for a single SCV. Not too bad of a trade here for the Terran. He's going to be able to finish up that command center uncontested. So this kind of looks like your standard 2-1-1. So 2 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. But it's actually a 1-1-1. So 1 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. This is a little bit different. So these medevacs, yeah, he will go for double medevacs, and I think a Widow Mine? That would make, that would make the most sense. This was a build that actually was popular about, I don't know, 2 years or so ago. Basically what you do is you go for the double medevacs, you start harassing your opponent, and you can hit much, much earlier than with a regular 2-1-1 drop, so about I would say like a 45 seconds or so earlier. However, your Marines are not going to have Stimpak. And you can only really pull this kind of strategy off if you skip that very first Reaper. So we'll see what he's going to be able to do with this. Actually, recently I've seen this build a couple of times where Terrans open up with a lot of Marines. There's the 3rd command center, by the way. But they open up with a lot of Marines like this to make their opponent think it's bio and then transition towards mech. So it is going to be a couple of Hellions right now as a follow-up. I would actually love to see that. It's been a while since I've seen that strategy. It's one that it's one of those builds that completely throws me off every single time that I play against a Terran that does it. Because you see a bunch of bio units early on and you're like, okay, great, I'm going to go for Banelings and stuff. This should be fine. But then you actually go up against someone who's playing a really cheeky style where they transition towards mech. So we'll see what he's going to produce. Now, Lynx made their way across the map. Keep in mind, you cannot repair a structure that is currently not finished. Medevac micro on the right-hand side. Well, nah, that's not going to happen. I mean, he got a little bit cheeky there, tried to go back in. These Marines really did not achieve too much. Looks like the Zerglings, though, on the other side of the map will also be taken care of, but this is not a situation you want to be in when you're a Terran player. Lost the medevac, lost a whole bunch of units there too, but most importantly, this gives Zerg right now the go-ahead to make 15 drones all at once. He knows that there's not going to really be that much counter-aggression anymore. He's even going to go for the 4th hatchery right now. We see the lair coming up, +1 missile. So even though the aggression certainly wasn't that bad of a trade there for Terran, the problem is that he's not going to be able to really put on that much counter-aggression anymore at that point in the game either. Now, 3rd Command Center did finish up. 3rd Command Center is always one of those very important structures for Terran. Normally, we see that one with a standard build once again coming up at about 4:30 is when this command center starts. He started it up quite a bit sooner than we normally see in a standard game, so it's not like he's going to be in a terrible economical position, but still, I don't think if you're a Terran player here, you want to give Zerg as much wiggle room as he's got right now. Liberators will be scouted. A couple of Hellions now also moving forward. Now look right here, right? He doesn't have anything but Zerglings and Queens at this point in the game. A lot of creep spread, though, already towards the left-hand side of the map. We do see the Liberators, for some reason, sieged up together. Nice bit of control there, once again, by uThermal. Getting himself a lot of damage done. But, I mean, it's mostly damage as far as Zerglings go. And, you know, it's buying him some mining time, but he's losing the units. And, yeah, it's certainly nothing to write home about, right? Now, you can see the supply count, though. He's macroing excellently on the back of this, but Bly certainly is not slowing down with that either. 4th hatchery right now is done. He's already up to 53 workers. He's going to be able to go up right now towards that newly acquired hatchery very quickly too. And he's going to be able to macro his way out of this very, very smoothly. It's going to be that Roach Warren here as well, the +1 missile that I already pointed out earlier. So we'll see what he actually wants to go for. Maybe he assumes right now that it is going to be that mech-based army. Well, I guess this is all you really need to see, right? He was probably going to scout with maybe an overseer or something, but just seeing the addition of another factory already indicates that indeed it is going to be mech. So really, let me just take a second here to point out how cool this is, right? So, for the longest time, we saw Terran players playing either bio or mech, right? And you made that decision on the loading screen, and then that was what you were playing. Now, recently, we've been seeing these really cool styles where you open up with a bunch of Marines, and then you transition towards mech. It feels a little bit similar, I suppose. Well, a little bit, not too much, but a little bit similar to StarCraft 1, where we also sometimes see that kind of strategy. Mostly because you need a lot of economy in order to actually make that mech army work. Are there still Marines in there? Yeah. Those Marines from earlier, I guess, are still inside of that medevac. Pretty interesting. But it's gonna be that battle mech army. So when it comes to mech, we have two variations of it. Either you go for what we call a vanilla mech, where you focus really heavily on siege tanks and you focus on Thors and you have a really slow-moving army, or you go for what is considered to be battle mech, where you essentially get yourself an army up of Cyclones and Hellions, and you really try your very best to put down a lot of pressure on that Zerg player to hopefully make them crumble under it. And if that doesn't work out, you can always still transition towards siege tanks and Thors and all that a little while later. Now, so far, I gotta say, the defense here from Bly has been good, right? Like I mentioned earlier, he did lose a couple of units, he did lose Zerglings and all that, but most importantly, he didn't lose a lot of workers, right? He only lost a couple of drones up to this point in the game, and that's really not what you want if you're the Terran here. So when it comes to resources lost, you can see, yeah, it's you know, it's okay. It's not like the Terran is in a terrible spot, but if you look at the worker count, right? It's already up to 82 right now here for Bly. That's his sweet spot. That's really where he can start making tons and tons and tons of units. That's really all he needs to play the remainder of this game. His income is going to be significantly bigger than that of the Terran player. So even though he lost more resources than his opponent up to this point in the game, he's mining more resources as well. And that does grant him a net positive. A couple of roaches somehow, some way made their way across the map. They're not going to be able to get too much done, though. There is that group of Hellions here on the left-hand side, too. So with the attention now diverted away from the main bases of the Terran, he's going to be able to hopefully micro a little bit over here instead. Already, though, roaches are being set up over here, too. And there they are, guys. The dreaded infester. It's being made. I can't believe it. Right now, there's only 3 of them, right? So I don't think we need to complain just yet. If he makes more infestors, I will talk to you, okay, about like a potential solution. that I would like to go over as well, that I would like to really see. A lot of Zerglings, though, made their way across the map. Ooh, the depot actually not lifted. Still, though, those siege tanks are going to be able to deal a lot of splash damage as well. At the same time, we see Liberators now making their way over here. A couple of Hellions also trying to, I guess, make their way to a mineral line. Already, though, those Infestors are really slowing down the advancement here of the push. The Zerglings on the other side of the map were cleaned up, but Hellions now make their way towards the mineral line. This is huge. Blue Flame Hellions deal a ridiculous amount of damage, and while most of the attention there from the Terran or from the Zerg player was over at the 4th, now these distractions are insane, and in the blink of an eye, we see 33 drones going down. There you go. You blink twice, your worker line is gone. Sorry about that. It's the strength of Blue Flame Hellions right there. Great multitasking there from Mr. Thermostat. And while he's probably not going to be able to get away here with that army, these units have certainly paid for themselves in gold. Once again, though, Hellions on the left-hand side, trying to move forward. We see the Greater Spire now coming up as well for Bly, +2 melee as well. Interestingly enough, he split up his 2 evolution chambers. I never do that anymore because it always messes me up. Well, a couple more drones do end up going down. And you know what? Hellions still arrive. Yeah, it's gonna 2-shot workers. Careful now. There you go. That's another 8 drones. That wasn't really supposed to happen. I think some actually went down over here as well in this high ground expansion. But this now puts Mr. Thermostat in a pretty interesting position, right? So he's got himself the 4th command center done. He's got a really good, beefy army here, and he's going to be able to start making all of the defenses and attacking units necessary to deal with a late-game Zerg army. It looks like Bly in this game, for the most part, really skipped the early and the mid-game. He just simply wanted to go straight towards that hive tech. Obviously, he wasn't able to do so without making a whole bunch of roaches and links and whatnot as well, but really, this is just him going for a straight line towards that Broodlord Infestor-based army. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to be seeing a lot more of those spellcasters here in just a second. Once again, though, the Hellions trying to see if they can get something done. Mostly right now... Oh, I love those side blockers over there. You see that? Well, you can see the siege tank right now, but sometimes if you put the siege tanks right behind that little grassy bit, there's actually quite a bit of damage you can do. Liberator over here picked off. Liberator over here picked off too. A couple of Hellions trying to make their way over towards the 4th base once again, but hey, you already killed all of those drones. So there's nothing left to kill. Oh man, you managed to get the Hellions in, but then you realized I already killed the mineral line. That sucks. That sucks. Okay, so hear me out, right? While this game seems to be in a little bit of a lull, I've been thinking about the Infestor quite a bit, and it seems to be that because it's the best source of Zerg anti-air, it's extremely difficult to balance, right? The reason why Zerg players make so many Infestors is because, well, first off, you got the infested Terrans, and secondly, you've got yourself Neural Parasite, right? Like, Neural Parasite and I guess also Fungal Growth, not as important against that late-game army, I would say. By the way, Yamato Gun is coming up. So I guess we're gonna be seeing a bunch of, oh man, I love that. I love that late-game TVZ where we see Broodlords and Corruptors and Infestors and whatnot going up against that big Sky Terran army. Anyways, once again, man, it's gonna be hard to talk and you know, give you my thoughts while this game is gonna happen as well. So can you guys please slow down on the aggression for a sec? That'd be great. Thank you. Well, never mind. He's gonna push over here. Anyways, so the reason why people do make a lot of Infestors is because they're your best source of anti-air. Zerg anti-air kind of sucks. I mean, alternatively, you can go, I guess, for Queens or Hydralisk or Corruptors, but all of those are easily counterable. You'd much rather go Infestors because they're significantly more reliable. Now, this push over here, though, that's a bit of a problem. The Terran army is all the way on the right-hand side of the map. That command center needs to get away from there. This is a really scary push, actually, by Bly. It's got a lot of banelings on the left-hand side, too. Siege tanks do siege up. Oh, a couple of corrosive balls. Do not quite kill the siege tanks. A couple of SCVs actually also trying to repair. At the same time, we do see a small Cyclone Hellbat squad all the way at home. This is actually a pretty sick move, right? The fact that uThermal found the APM to send this unit squad out as well. While the Zerg army is all the way on the other side. You know what? That was actually a net positive there for the Terran player, right? I mean, yeah, he forced the lift off and all that, but it's really not that big of a deal. Once again, a couple of Hellions make their way towards the mineral line. 62 workers have gone down. Even though the early game was a bit of a disaster for Terran, now it's all of a sudden looking much better. Securing a base right over here, too. And now he's going for the Battlecruiser force. So sick. Okay, so since Zerg anti-air kind of sucked, right? Here's my suggestion. Get rid of the Infestor entirely. Delete it out of the game. Add in Scourge instead. From StarCraft 1, the Scourge, the air banelings, essentially. And tweak Hydralisk anti-air just a little bit, so they're a bit stronger against air units. I wonder what that would look like, right? Considering there's the new balance patch coming up, I would love that to be one of the things they are testing right now. Because after BlizzCon wraps up, there's going to be a few months of downtime until the new competitive season begins. This would be the perfect time to test it out. I would love seeing it. Because it seems to me, right, that the Infestor is essentially impossible to balance properly. Because either you make it too weak or you make it too strong. I don't really see how you could get a unit that has so many utility spells to be, you know, both your best anti-air and then also a unit that... I kind of feel like the Infestor, like after years and years of seeing the unit, right? Either you nerf it into oblivion or it's going to be too strong. Like, I would love to see a middle ground, but I just never have seen it before. And I don't know if this change to the Infested Terran is really going to help out with that regard either. Once again, though, slow push right now from Bly. Towards this high ground expansion. Now, it needs to be careful. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you can really move up there. These Battlecruisers are going to be beefy. So what are his upgrades like right now? He doesn't have too much just yet. Needs to certainly continue upgrading. On the left-hand side of the map, we now also see a small Terran hit squad. Trying to get something done. Roaches, though, preventing that as well. But certainly a better fight here for the Terran player. Nice little bit of micro. Although the one Cyclone on the left-hand side that does get picked off as well. There's a planetary fortress over here, buddy. What are you going to do with those roaches? Die? I guess you can try and walk behind the mineral line, just barely out of range. Maybe kill like a refinery or two, but... obviously, these are just little distraction maneuvers. But here's the thing, though, right? If you were to replace the Infestor with the Scourge, I think there might actually be a potential there. I think it would be really cool. Because the Scourge is a reliable anti-air tool, or at the very least it should be. And it would make Zerg feel way more swarmy. Now, the only thing that I could come up with... actually, I didn't come up with this, but someone mentioned this on Twitter when I tweeted about it. Is maybe countering Thors. But other than that, Infestors really aren't that critical. And you could certainly replace them. It's just that they're the best tool for the job right now. And other than the anti-air capacity, right? I mean, fungal growth is very good, obviously. Neuroparasite, very good as well. But I feel like both of those can be replaced quite smoothly. With just a better anti-air, a more swarmy unit as well. I would love to see that. At the very least, try it out. See what it looks like. I think it would be really cool. Much more fun at the very least than seeing someone make 20 spellcasters. Speaking of 20 spellcasters, I can't help but notice right now that Terran is making 3 coast academies. That's a lot. Are we going to be seeing some nukes here as well? That would be pretty sick. Interesting hit squad over here, by the way. Look at the Battlecruiser fleet on the right-hand side of the map. The ground army on the left-hand side as well. Sitting on the creep. This is a scary force. He needs to wait for those Brute Lords to come over here. Once the Brute Lords are here, obviously, that base is going to be pretty much... or that army, rather, is going to be pretty much toast. But the base already is gone as well. Battlecruisers, though, moving in. Keep in mind, they do have tactical jump available. Although he needs to be careful. If a fungal growth lands, that would be the end of these Battlecruisers. So he decides to jump away pretty preemptively. Already, you know, getting what he came here for. Managed to kill a bunch of drones, managed to kill the base on the left-hand side. He got himself a very strong army right now, and we see more and more Battlecruisers coming up, but also tactical nukes. Look at this. There are 5 Ghost Academies in total. He's gonna go for that new upgrade. There's a new upgrade for the Ghosts that basically increases the range and then the radius of the what's it called? The EMP spell that reduces the energy out of a unit. Now, obviously on paper, right, there is a counter to the Infestor, and it is the Ghost. So maybe this is going to be a great example on how to make that kind of thing work. But it kind of feels like in order to, like, deal with Infestors, you need, like, 7 hands. And in order to utilize your Infestor, you need, like, 1 hand, right? So it's one of those unfair attention units, right? Like, it's not like that's necessarily a bad thing, because there's a lot of that in StarCraft 2. I mean, for example, the late-game Skytol's army comes to mind, right? Like, just an army that's basically a tech move, and maybe some storms or whatnot in there. That requires significantly more attention to deal with it. Like, you need so much more in order to try and, you know, kill that kind of army. So, it's not like that is unheard of in StarCraft 2, but Infestors require just the precise EMP if you want to try and pick them off, because if you don't, it's going to be a disaster. Man, that's a lot of nukes, though. Come on, Ghosts. Get out on the map. We want to see you guys use those nukes. Come on. Get moving. You guys also, by the way, are the key to winning this game. You need to land those EMPs. Well, there we go. One of them already being utilized. Second one now also being utilized over on this high ground expansion. Looks like it was spotted by Bly instantly. Cancels all of the spore crawlers. Oh my god, he needs to be careful. There's the Ghost. There's the Ghost. Oh, good hit. Good hit. Now Bly doesn't have the money here to replace it. And what do you think he replaces it with? 9 infestors. Well, at least he got his revenge, I suppose. I don't actually know if the nuke over here landed, but that one shouldn't have done too much. Battlecruiser fleet once again moving towards the bottom left-hand corner. Do the Yamato cannons. Do the thing. Actually, you don't really need it. Just, yeah, no. They deal so much damage. It's pretty insane. Man, I love seeing Battlecruisers. I really hope, and I mentioned this in my balance patch notes video. I'll go ahead and post a link to that one down below if you're interested. But I really do hope that they don't decide to nerf the Battlecruiser. I really don't think Battlecruisers need a nerf. I know that a lot of people in, like, you know, lower level play struggle against Battlecruisers, but come on. At the highest level of play, it seems like there's a lot of counters available to the Battlecruiser. And, yeah, you don't really want to... I don't think... So hear me out. I don't think you want to... Man, once again, 3 nukes being utilized all at once. I mean, this one does absolutely nothing, but I guess this one can... Yeah, none of these really do anything. Even if they all land, which it looks like they do. This is mostly just gonna, I guess, force attention away a little bit. Keep in mind, these nukes are 100 minerals, 100 gas each. Oh my god, he's landing them left and right. I would love to see them a little bit more aggressively than this, if I'm being brutally honest with you. I guess, though, this forces a lot of the attention here from Zerg away from the army, right? So it's effectively slowing down the Zerg player. Once again, forcing the lift off right here on that command center. We do see now a couple of corrosive biles landing on that flying orbital command as well. Battlecruiser fleet once again on the other side of the map. Huh, that's a lot of Battlecruisers. I feel like this one could be in a little bit of trouble. Immediately jumps away. These Battlecruisers, though, can certainly do a lot of damage. There's once again a tactical nuke being put up right behind the Zerg army, but the Zerg army is just marching forward. Battlecruisers, though, dealing a lot of damage. 16 drones end up going down. Needs to send these home in order to deal with this army. He's not going to be able to do that much without these Battlecruisers, right? I mean, he looks like he wants to continue harassing here for a little while longer, but he's losing the main base right now. Nukes are being set up, and you know what? He's essentially herding the Zerg. He's actually herding the Zerg towards the main base. That is odd. I've never seen that before. Dude, is that what he's trying to do with these nukes? He's actually trying to force them into a corner. He's using them for zoning. Killing so much stuff here in the meantime, too, with these Battlecruisers. They've already killed a base. Looks like they're going to go after the hive next. This Zerg army cannot, like, mass recall home or something along those lines. Terran army looks like it actually wants to move across the map. But I guess if you can contain them with nukes, they're never going to be able to really get out of there very easily, right? Main base, though, completely in shambles right now. Terran player not going to be able to get that much done. Well, speak of the main base of the Zerg as well. That one is completely decimated, too. All of the tech structures are being picked off on both sides of the map. Both players have a large bank, but they're not really going to be able to spend it very easily either. And you know what? These Battlecruisers are dealing a tremendous amount of damage. Now, there are some infestors here. They are certainly going to rain some of those infested Terrans to the ground as well. No need for the neural parasite, apparently. Because these infested Terrans should have a pretty good time. But so much damage is being done. Yo, we have a Battlecruiser base race. I have never really seen a Battlecruiser base race before, but I love it. I wish you had a couple more nukes available to prevent this Zerg from ever leaving the natural. How sick would that be? Corruptors using their caustic spray there on the planetary fortress too. But there's still a lot of bases in the top right-hand corner. Mr. Thermostat right now making the transition to watch Marines. He realizes, you know what, my economy is so low, I need to get my Marines going. He's picking up so many bases left and right, but eventually these two players are going to have to clash, right? Base in the bottom left-hand corner really is the last one remaining right now. Only 12 drones are available here for the Zerg player. 58 SCVs still, but keep in mind that also eats into that supply count quite big, or quite greatly here. If you look at the army supplies right now, it's 140-ish supply here for Zerg versus 90 only for Terran. That's not ideal. Oh, that was very close. Okay, so he jumps towards the third base. Does Zerg know at this point? He doesn't. Oh my god, dude, there's no more mining. Zerg is completely gone. Zerg has no more bases. Am I crazy? Hold up. Dude, he's got no more bases. He's got nothing. All of the hatcheries are gone. Now he takes another one right here on that high ground. Keep in mind, the bank is still pretty significant. And this army of Zerg is still terrifying. I love the move there for uThermal. I'm not sure if it was the correct one. The thought process was awesome, right? Like, if he could have actually herded the Zerg and kept it inside of the main base, that would have been incredible. I've never seen that before. Like, nuking over here, nuking over there, and nuking over there, and then it forced them over towards this high ground. But then eventually he ran out of nukes. So he couldn't continue doing that. Okay, so at this point, yeah, the Terran has a better economy, but Zerg has a much better army. Is Bly actually gonna go back? Is he just gonna sit back at home? I don't know if that's the correct call, to be honest. I feel like he needs to move towards the top right. Like, he doesn't exactly know how much mining there is still for Terran. Although he does know that there's more than what he's got right now, right? Oh my god, that's a lot of infested Terrans. Yeah, whoop-de-doo, you kill some SCVs. Now what? I feel like that energy is way more worthwhile than... like, these infestors are not gonna have to wait, like, 200 seconds, right? Before they can once again use this. Although if you feed it more SCVs, I guess that helps. But yeah, right now the scan confirms as well that the infestors are gone. Okay, so Zerg managed to secure another base here on the high ground. Terran got this beautiful established position in the top right-hand corner. Plus, he still has a couple of the command centers all over the map, right? I'm still a little bit worried, though, for this Terran player, because while he did keep most of the Battlecruisers alive, I don't actually know if he saw a single one going down here. Okay, yeah, no, 3 of them... Dude, look at this. The units lost step is insane. I've never seen that before. That units lost is insane. Anyways, even though he lost a bunch of Battlecruisers, the majority of them are still alive. The thing is, how many infestors and whatnot were lost in this game? It's 8 and 1. I know the cost is probably similar, right? So these infestors are pretty expensive. Oh, okay. He found apparently one of the Battlecruisers. Sorry, buddy. Even though like these infestors are pretty expensive, these Battlecruisers take forever to produce, and they're also 300 gas each. Once again, we see another nuke being utilized. This one will be spotted immediately. Very good response, by the way, by Bly so far. He's been really impressing me lately, to be honest. Like, even though the infestor may be a little bit strong, right? And I'm with you on that one. I feel like we've discussed that at length. Like, it's not like it's the easiest unit to control either. Dude, that looks cool. Sorry. Yeah, you're not gonna live either. Oh man, that's cream. Pop ghost. But infestor's still not the easiest unit to utilize. Here's one issue as well that I've personally run into, right? So say the Zerg versus Protoss late game. And both players right now, by the way, are trying to max out. But say Zerg versus Protoss late game. Actually, I thought he was gonna max out. Is he not going to? Okay. He's just picking whatever he can. But say Zerg versus Protoss late game, right? I'm not very good at countering the Zerg versus Protoss late game, even if I get 1 million infestors out. I feel like my APM is not high enough, and I've got like 400 actions per minute in the late game, right? I feel like I need a lot of skill in order to pull that kind of thing off. So when it comes to the amount of Zerg players that can actually utilize infestors to their fullest potential, I would say there's only like a couple dozen of them. Like if you go below, I would say like 6,000 MMR, which really is like, you know, the top, I don't know, like top 100 world or so. Most Zerg players struggle at that point in the game, dealing with these kind of late game armies, right? Like it's very much so a top heavy like issue, I guess, that we are looking at. So I'm a little bit worried that if you decide to, and once again, I'm a big proponent of like balancing the game around the top level, right? But I'm still a little bit worried what would happen if they decide to nerf the infestor and what like lower league game would look like. And with lower league, I mean still like, you know, Grandmaster League included too. What exactly are you going to do against those late game armies if infestors are going to be significantly weaker? I really feel like it would be a good idea to test out at the very least what Scourge would look like. Plus, I think that Scourge are a really badass unit. Imagine like a cloud of Scourge waiting right over here, right? If you make a mistake as Terran, you're not scanning ahead, your whole army gets blown up. But obviously, if it does get scanned, you're in a lot of trouble because these Scourge can just simply get picked off relatively easily too. Now, once again, the infested Terrans being rained across. Ghost right now, apparently the ones tasked with cleaning all of this up. They actually do a surprisingly good job there. Ooh, that was actually surprisingly good. But I think most game design that comes down to free units is not great, right? I think right now, you know, like swarm hosts are fine. Swarm hosts are very supply heavy, and it feels like going all in whenever you make swarm hosts. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the way the infestor functions right now. It just feels a little bit too hit or miss. And not to take away anything here from Bly's performance, obviously. He's doing a phenomenal job here. Okay, so even though both players could have clashed a little while ago, neither of them really made that decision. Terran's supply is still looking solid. He's got himself a couple more bases done right now, going for additional orbital commands. He's got a lot of ghosts. He's got a lot of nukes. Apparently, in his mind right now, the late game army he wants to go for here is ghosts and battlecruisers. I don't know if that's gonna cut it, if I'm being brutally honest with you. The way that Bly is playing it right now, he's doing an excellent job. Just simply cleaning up all of the ghosts. Now, once again, another nuke being utilized. But these are what I would like to call desperation nukes, right? Oh god. There you go. It's one of those nukes where you're trying to get the lucky hit. You're crossing your fingers, you're hoping to get the lucky hit, and if you don't hit it, you're in trouble. Once again, another nuke. Like, what is this spot? I guess it's to clear out creep? I guess it's cheaper than a scan. Do you think that's the reason? So a scan is like 270 minerals, right? Because it could have been a mule instead. And a nuke is 100 minerals, 100 gas. Do you think he actually wants to... No, there's no way. Okay, no, he just scans over here too. I think these are just desperation nukes though. There we go, once again, a massive spray of infested Terrans. We do see the nuke moving once again to the back of this Zerg army. As long as he sees it. As long as he sees it. There it is. These are nail-biting moments to watch, I suppose, but I feel like the Zerg players have gotten extremely good dealing with these ghosts. It's like, yeah, the nukes take like 10 seconds to land, right? It's not like they're gonna be available immediately as soon as you activate it. Look at the gas count here, actually, as well, from Bly. I wouldn't blame it at all if he decides to add on more infestors. I know he's got 22 right now. I guess in my mind, the way that I view infestors, and this goes for every spellcaster in the game, I would love it if infestors, High Templar, ghosts, all those units come out in numbers no greater than, say, 5. Right? They're a supportive unit. They're a unit that you want to utilize as part of your unit composition, but not actually as an army all on its own. Does that make any sense? Oh god. Ooh, if these infestors get blown up, that would be a disaster. Oh, he gets it here, but... yeah, I don't like seeing them as, like, the main army. And the reason, once again, why Zergs do this is not because they want to be jerks, it's because that's their best source of anti-air. Hydras suck when it comes to anti-air. Corruptors are easily countered when it comes to anti-air. Infested Terrans and Neuroparasite just simply are your best option. I would love to see the removal of the Infestor, and then checking out what a Scourge and a Hydra anti-air buff would do. I think it would be very interesting. I have no idea what that ghost was doing. A bunch of these nukes have been really questionable, right? Like, what was that even supposed to do? Okay, Command Center gets acquired over here. Probably wants to go for Planetary. There it is. He's growing his unit composition, but not by too much. Do the units lost actually indicate nukes too? No, it doesn't. So, units lost, I mean, you know, I guess technically the nukes were never lost, quote unquote. But I mean, he definitely activated more than 2 of them. So this doesn't quite indicate the amount of resources that he spent. I guess that's what we want to see, right? We don't want to see units lost, we want to see resources spent. So right now you can see that Zerg has been more cost efficient than the Terran. And while the Banelings probably aren't accurate, the Ghosts, or rather the nukes certainly aren't accurate. So I would say there's probably about an additional 1,000 here for the Terran player, at least on that units lost tab. Which just means that the Zerg player has been extremely cost efficient. Now I do like this spot. Once again, double nukes being activated. This base over in the high ground though has been mined out. Dude, he's doing a good job. Really impressed here by Bly. Not playing too greedy, just simply spotting these ghosts and dealing with them immediately. Keep in mind, the only thing he sees is just a little red dot, right? So there's a Spire actually being produced right now. Man, if one of these nukes lands though, it can be game over so quickly. I think that Spire lives. Yep. A couple of drones get picked off, but nothing too crazy. And that's every single time you see a nuke, right? It's a 100 minerals and 100 gas investment that goes down the drain. Okay. So this game right now is leading up to one clash. One big engagement. Where these players are going to have to decide who becomes victorious. Both players have a very solid army right now. They're once again maxing out. I guess, you know, I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to get the lucky hit. Yes, sure. But I think what he's also trying to do is he's trying to buy time. I think actually if Bly moved out like 2 minutes ago, he would have been in a really good spot to win the games right then and there. However, these ghosts have been successfully pinning him back for, I don't know, like 10 minutes right now, right? Like, yeah, it's an investment, but it's less of an investment than what you're getting in as far as your income goes. Once again, another nuke being utilized here on the left-hand side of the map. There is a spine crawler coming up as well. Great spotting right there once again by Bly. Sees exactly what's going on. And once again, this is forcing that Zerg army to back off. It is a clever move, right? He's actually maxing out. I didn't think he was going to be able to max out anymore, but he's doing a great job doing exactly that. The only issue right now is that he's running out of gas. Terran does not have a lot of gas anymore. He's only really got these two mining bases and I guess one refinery over here. And Zerg still has a little bit more than that. Or at the very least, Zerg can have a little bit more than that. Zerg though still had a bank of 3,000 minerals, 3,000 gas. He can remax. He can remax on you know, a lot more of these scary units once again. How many ghosts are there right now? 23. 23 ghosts, 12 battlecruisers. 1 nuke. Here's the infested Terran spray. There's 1 nuke. Another one is being produced right now too. Anti-armor missile being utilized there on those brute lords. But it looks like the planetary is down, right? Well, not just yet. Nice fungal growth. But the infested Terrans are going to be able to deal so much damage. Nukes once again landing. Ghost trying to move forward. Planetary still lives though. It already got 41 kills, which is very significant. Great set of damage there. Banelings, they're trying to move forward as well. Excellent splits there by uThermal, but in these kind of scenarios, man, StarCraft 2 is just a numbers game. Bly has been mining more than his opponent, and uThermal leaves the game without a GG. So you know what? I know some people will look at this and think, oh my god, infestors again? Can't believe it, Lowko. I think that this game was just simply played better by Bly than by uThermal. He had a lot of mining bases, right? And he just simply mined a lot more resources than his opponent. He made cost-efficient trades, partially due to the infestor, but I feel like if he would have made anything else, it also would have had a very similar result, right? Maybe not as extreme, but he would have still mined more than his opponent and probably won in the long run. But that was an excellent game of Zerg versus Terran. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as I upload future content. A special shout out to the Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for your generosity. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you once again in the next one.